Hello friends, Intuitive Rene here, bringing you your Friday pick a card. And as you can see, I have shuffled and laid out some cards that we're going to be working with today, and I'm really excited to bring this particular pick a card to you. The day I release this video is the 18th of June 2021, but this video, let it be relevant and appropriate no matter when it is that you find it, no matter when it is that you watch it. But the whole idea behind this particular spread that we're going to be working with today is helping you find your light. And we always are looking for our light when things are dark, when things are dreary, when things are not quite as bright and wonderful as we want or need them to be. And for those of us here in the Southern Hemisphere, we are moving towards our winter solstice, which is happening in a couple of days' time. And generally the winter solstice is when we have the longest night of the year and the shortest day. And generally speaking, when everyone's moods are a little bit dark and everyone's feeling a little bit dark and a little bit dreary. So I thought it was quite appropriate that we look at finding our light in the darkest times now as we approach the middle of the year and as we go through our winter solstice, which is on the 21st of June. So we're a couple of days early, but I thought it would be quite nice to actually do this reading now to give you the opportunity to have the information, to have the knowledge, to have the guidance, whatever it is that Spirit needs you to have. So it gives you a couple of days to work through it. It gives you a couple of days to ponder, to think, and to allow all the energies to settle and to resonate with you. And to see what comes up for you. So I have got quite a few questions written out again on a piece of paper just off camera so that I don't forget what we're working with. But let me just take you through the cards that we are working with. The big card at the back that you see is the Nature's Whispers Oracle. Really, really lovely oracle deck that gives such beautiful, gentle messages. And I thought, again, with us working on finding our light in the dark, we needed gentle. In saying that, the tarot pack, the tarot deck that I've picked today, you may recognize this. The tarot pack that I have chosen today is the Shadowland Tarot, which is a little bit shadowy, a little bit face your fears, a little bit look at the dark stuff, because that's exactly what we are actually doing today. And then the white card that you can sort of see peeping out underneath over here is the I Am Power Oracle deck. I Am Power Affirmation cards. I haven't used them in a very long time, but I thought today we're going to bring in some I Am Power so that we can work with our I Am. We can work with, you know, some kind of an affirmation to help you process the darkness and bring it into the light. And then finally, the green cards that you're seeing on top here, the little green cards that you see on top, is from the cute, the amazing, the wonderful Forest Fae little oracle deck. These are so cute. It's a new one I've gotten a couple of days ago. So those are the decks that we're going to be working with. So if this is the first time that you're doing a pick a card with me, generally I have 3 piles or 3 bundles or 3 readings, 3 messages. And all you need to do is to decide which of the 3 is going to have the message, the reading, the guidance, and the inspiration that you need. And once you know which one you're going for, if you open up the description box of the video below, you will see timestamps that will take you straight to the particular video so that you can get the reading that you need. So how do you pick which bundle is the right one for you? Well, I know some people who use their pendulum, for example. So you can use your pendulum to help you choose, is it bundle 1, 2, or 3? You can use the numbers and the timestamps. I know quite a few people who actually do that. They look at the numbers and they let the numbers talk. If the numbers, like if there's a whole lot of 4s, or if there's a whole lot of whatever your favorite number is, or if it's the sequence of numbers that attracts you, but you can use that. Or you can actually close your eyes now and do a couple of deep breaths. Clear your mind, clear your soul, and then allow yourself to be guided to whichever of these has the message, the reading, and the guidance that you need. So there are so many different ways. You may be the kind of person who every time you do one of my picker cards, you always pick bundle 1, or you always have your favorite number. That's okay too. That really is absolutely okay as well. But however you do, just allow yourself to be intuitively guided to whichever. And of course, if you want to watch all 3, absolutely go for it. If you want to watch each one, because I can assure you that you will certainly get the relevant guidance and inspiration that you need. So I am going to need quite a bit of space on the table today, which is why I don't have too many decorations and crystals and candles and other things going, because I am laying out quite a few cards, and you can see that we're going from really big too small. So, and of the tarot, we're going to be drawing quite a few as well. So I do need a bit of space on the table. So friends, I'm going to stop babbling and let's get straight into your pick a card. Do whatever you need to at this point to choose bundle 1, bundle 2, or bundle 3, and then you can go into the timestamps and go straight to that portion of the video. I look forward to connecting with you there. Hello and welcome to those of you who chose bundle 1 as the bundle that has the message, the reading, the guidance, and the inspiration that you need right now. We are looking at finding your light as we go through the winter solstice, and you can see that I have shuffled and laid out the cards so that yeah, we get straight into it and not waste any time. So we're going to start with the tarot first, because the tarot is what contains the main reading, the main message, and the main guidance. So we're going to have a look at the tarot, and then we will look at the oracle cards and the affirmation cards and everything else that I have got laid out here. So we're going to start with the tarot, and as I said, I've got 5 questions laid out to try and help us find our light as we go through the winter solstice. We're going to start off with, what is the main fairly unknown obstacle that you have been dealing with lately that has created the darkness, that has created the shadow that we're needing to be clearing and working through? So our first question here is the main unknown obstacle that you have been dealing with during this winter period. And what we have is the 8 of Cups. Very interesting. So the Shadowland Tarot, which is the tarot deck that I'm working with today, it is a little bit obscure, it is a little bit quirky, it's a little bit strange, it's a little bit fabulous. I absolutely love it, especially when it comes to facing hard truths and sort of understanding the truth of who we are and what we're dealing with. So with the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Cups is traditionally known as the card of walking away, the card of abandonment, the card of saying, you know what, I don't want to be doing this anymore and I want to explore my options. So if we have a look at this card, and I don't know if I'm going to get this right to get it into focus, here we have the skeletal figure who has been having a fabulous time drinking all of this weird stuff at the bottom here, and he's sort of leaving everything behind and he's moving away. But notice what he's moving to. Can you see this yellow energy? He's moving towards the light, okay? He's moving towards the light, and this is what we have been doing. This is what you have been focusing on. So the main obstacle that you've been dealing with is walking away from a situation, a person, a circumstance, a something in your life that hasn't been working for you, okay? This is something that you've been struggling with over the last winter period, over this first half of the winter, is trying to sort of separate yourself from things that aren't healthy, that aren't good for you, the things that don't bring you joy, that don't bring you pleasure, trying to find your way in the darkness, okay? So that is the main unknown obstacle. So even if you're not consciously aware that you've been trying to separate yourself, just know that there is a part of you that has been trying to do that. So that is the main obstacle that you've been dealing with. Let's have a look at how this has played out, or the shadow that it has cast over your life. And what we have there is the 9 of Pentacles. So actually quite interesting, because the 9 of Pentacles, so I just want to bring these down so that you can see them a bit clearer. The 9 of Pentacles is the card of abundance. It's the card of excess. It's the card of having everything that your heart desires and so much more, okay? It's a card of having all your wishes fulfilled from a purely physically materialistic point of view. So the 9 of Pentacles is often known as the opulence card. It's like excess, all right? So if you have a look at what we've got going on here so far, remember we're looking at how to find your light. The main unknown obstacle that you've been dealing with is trying to separate or trying to walk away from a thing. How is the shadow that this has cast over your life means that you've probably been overcompensating, okay, with material possessions. You've been overcompensating with buying things, retail therapy, buying things that you think make you happy, things that you think it brings you joy, but actually when you really evaluate it, maybe it hasn't, because the shadow that it's cast over your life is the shadow of opulence. It's the shadow of that's what I'm saying, it's overcompensation and trying to surround yourself, or trying to add more to your life, when actually what you want to do is separate and move away and separate yourself from whatever doesn't bring you joy anymore. So how do we step out of this shadow? How do we step out of this kind of situation that we find ourselves in? And here we've got the 6 of Pentacles, which is actually very interesting, because 6 of Pentacles is the card of exchange. It's the card of offering. I want to actually show you. We have got quite a few different people on the card. So we've got 2 main figures who are exchanging gifts. There's 2 little figures who are exchanging gifts. There's 2 even smaller who are exchanging gifts. So everybody's exchanging gifts. Everybody's offering somebody else something. And the question that we have here is how to step out of the shadow. And it's about recognizing that you cannot do this on your own. You have to have some kind of an equal exchange. So you're ready to walk away. Okay. The main obstacle that you've been dealing with is how to separate yourself, how to move away from anything that doesn't bring you joy. You've been overcompensating by buying and feeding and putting too much more into the whole situation your whole life. You've been overcompensating by adding. And here, the way to step out of the shadow, the way to overcome this and to step away from it, is to recognize, you know what, there's always got to be an equal exchange. Because if you have a look at all of this that's being exchanged on this particular card, I'm going to call it equal boxes. Yes, the ribbons might be slightly different, but the size of the box is the same. The apples that they're exchanging, the hearts that they're exchanging here, are all exactly the same size. It's about equal exchange. You've got to make sure that whatever you're putting in is exactly what the other person or the other situation is putting in. It needs to be an equal exchange. What you put in is what you need to get out. If you're not putting in the right, the only way that you're going to step out of the shadow is by equalizing the situation instead of always doing more, giving more, supplying more. More is not the answer here. That's actually very interesting. More is not the answer here. All right. The next question we have is how to replace the shadow with light. As we go through our winter solstice next week, as we move from the first half of winter into the second half, as our days start getting longer, brighter, as the nights start getting shorter, you know, we want to replace this negative. We want to replace this darkness with some light. So here we're going to have a look at how to replace the shadow that we've now identified. How do we replace it with light? And we have got the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is not really the card I was hoping to see here, because the Nine of Swords is typically known as the Nightmare card. Nine of Swords is stress and anxiety and worry. And if we have a look at it, the Shadowland deck is just it really calls us out on our stuff. So here we've got somebody who's lying in bed trying to sleep. I say trying to sleep because their eyes are so wide open. And what they're dreaming of is all these horrible spiders coming down at them. So that is truly, truly nightmare. They're not so worried about the monsters under the bed as they are worried about the monsters coming down from the top. So the question we asked here is how to replace the shadow with light. So the Nightmare card is basically saying to you, face your nightmares, face your fears, own up to it, admit to yourself and to everybody else around you that you have fears, that you are worried, that you are nervous, that you have anxiety. Let's be open and honest about the fears, about the anxieties, about the stress, because if we are open and honest, then suddenly we can immediately start working on replacing the dark with the light. But if we are oblivious, if we don't own up, if we keep quiet about this, then how can we fix it? How can we make it better? So this is Spirit saying to you, if you speak up about your problems, if you speak up about whatever this situation is, it's immediately adding light into it, because we are shedding light, allowing people to become mindful, aware of the situation. And finally, the last tarot card that we're going to draw here is looking forward in your life. What actually lies ahead for you? When we have dealt with this particular shadow, okay? When we've dealt with that shadow, when we've opened up and admitted to our insecurities, our fears, our anxieties, and our stresses, what can we look forward to? And the card that we have drawn there is the Four of Pentacles. Let's have a look at the Four of Pentacles. Look at him sitting under his little mushroom. He's got all his mushrooms around him. And look how he's holding on to whatever is important and significant to him. He looks quite happy. He looks quite content. He looks like he's living his best life. But what he's doing is he's holding on to the things that matter. Okay? I love this tiny little snail in the corner here. Isn't it cute? This deck is just, I love this deck. It is weird, it is quirky, it is a bit peculiar, but sometimes we need that because it makes us look at things a little bit differently. It look at things a little bit more seriously. So what do you have to look forward to? Four of Pentacles is the card of stability. It's the card of security. It's the card of having everything that your heart desires, having enough. Okay, this is the card of enough. Here we have opulence, excess, too much, and here we have enough. So what you've been doing, let's just do a quick recap of these 5 cards. The main obstacle that you've been dealing with is trying to separate or move away from something that doesn't bring you joy. Please, when I say something, I mean a person, a circumstance, a situation, a habit, an activity, something, okay? So each that will be different for each one of you. You will know what it is in your life that you have been trying to move away from, separate yourself from, or change from. The shadow that this has created is you overcompensating and doing more than is necessary. The way that you need to step out of the shadow is by recognizing and admitting to yourself that we only do things where there is an equal exchange. If there's no equal exchange, we're not participating in it. And how to replace the shadow with light is by admitting this to yourself, being open and honest with yourself about this particular situation, recognizing it, admitting it, facing up to it, and speaking about it, sharing it with the people that are significant in your life, letting everybody know what it is that you're feeling and what it is that you're going through. And finally, looking forward, what lies ahead, stability. And the stability that we're seeing here, it's not just about material possessions, okay? It's not just about material possessions. It could be emotional, mental, physical, financial, it could be anything, okay? But it's stability. Whereas at the moment, we are very unstable. At the moment, we're like all over the place, okay? And this is what lies ahead if we are able to put some light onto our darkness. All right, we're now going to have a look at the Oracle card, and this is coming from the Nature's Whispers Oracle. Let's just see what message, if I can pick it up, it wants to share with us. Let's clear out the old. I love that. These cards, the graphics, the imagery of this particular deck is just totally out of this world. I'm going to see if I can bring it closer to show you, but I don't know if it's going to work. Okay. So here we have a moon or a sun, and look, there we have, I forget now what it's called. Oh my gosh, how can I forget what that's called? But you know what I'm talking about. Look at his mind. We've got people over there. We've got clouds. We've got uncertainty. We've got chaos. But there's light underneath, okay? So it shows you. I love this, the shooting star rainbow that we have over there. Let's just see what else. We've even got the little artist here who is creating that Stonehenge. There we go. I got it. It took me a while. Look at the Owl of Wisdom that we have over here. And I love how off his neck, the necklace that he's holding, which is connected to his heart, okay, is this key, this doorway. It looks like a keyhole, this doorway to another universe, to another kingdom. We have got dandelions over here for making wishes. We've got this beautiful, perfect purple rose. But the message is to clear out the old. And I do think that actually makes perfect sense with the message that we've been talking about so long, okay? I love how this dandelion's blowing all its seeds everywhere. So there's definitely, oh, and I didn't even notice there's a face there. Oh my word. The more you look, the more you see with these cards. And you see this beautiful face. If I turn her sideways, then you can see her. And absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous. These cards are just exquisite. All right, so clearing out the old, the message that has for you is to say, let's not try and fix whatever this is. Let's actually just recognize that we have progressed, that we have moved on, that we are in a different place, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all the rest of it. We are in a new place, and we need to let go of, clear out the old to make way for the new, because the new stability that's coming through for you is going to be absolutely quite awesome. Clearing out the old is also about facing your fears, isn't it? Letting go of things, and that's what we're doing, is we're letting go of things that no longer work for us, and this is absolutely necessary. And this is confirmation of that, of the busy head, the busyness in the head, the fact that we're not being open and honest with ourselves about what we're seeing and what we're looking at. Even her eyes are closed. All right, even her eyes are closed. So there's a lot of not looking, not seeing, but it's a case of recognizing that there are pathways, there are places that we can go to that are going to be better for us. But in order for us to do that, we have to clear out the old first. All right, I want to have a look at, actually we'll leave the I am affirmation for last. Let's have a look at this particular card. So this one comes from the Forest Fae little oracle deck, and let's just see what message the Forest Fae have for you. We have, let's see if I can, there we go, Forest Sister. The moon shines brightest after the storm. Oh, I love that. Look at her, isn't she gorgeous? The moon shines brightest, let's just see if I can get that into, the moon shines brightest after the storm. And what you're going through at the moment is the storm, okay? All of this that we have here is the storm that you are currently going through, currently facing, all right? And we need to understand that the moon shines brightest after the storm. So once we have faced our fears, once we have walked away, once we have recognized equal exchange and not that you need to be doing excess, then the moon will shine. The moon will shine brightly, and everything will be back to normal actually better than normal. And that's what we're looking for. That's what we're working towards. And from these, this is the I Am Power cards, and they literally just have an affirmation on that you can use to help you move forward. So your affirmation is I am air. Now let me explain this. Air is an element, okay? We all know that air is what we breathe. Air is our life force. Without air, we have nothing. Without air, we are nothing. But we have nothing and are nothing without air. But what it is, it's reminding yourself, what does air do? Air blows through, air flows. If there's an obstacle, air just seems to go around it. Nothing stops air from moving. Air is one of the strongest elements that we have, and air is the beginning and the end of everything. Air can be so destructive that it can blow a tree over, it can blow a house, it can destroy property, but air can also just be like a gentle breeze that just refreshes and rejuvenates after a hot day, anything like that. Air is moldable, not moldable, it's flowing. Air is moving all the time. It's forever changing and forever flowing, and it is, even though it is completely invisible, it is strong. And this is what you need to be. You need to be this person who is adapting to your circumstances all the time. Instead of feeling guilty and overcompensating, instead of being fearful and not facing anything, instead of holding on to things that don't work for you, let's be air and let's just blow through everything. Let's clear out the old, and let's recognize that after the storm, everything will be so much brighter, and that's what we need. So let's get through the storm. Let's get through this that you've been struggling with for the longest time. Okay, so friends, I do hope that that reading connects with your heart and soul. I do hope that this helps you as you go through the winter solstice. I do suggest if you want to listen to this a couple of times over, because I'm sure that every time you do, you're going to hear something else. You're going to hear something, another little aspect that you maybe didn't take in first time round. And as we go through the solstice on the 21st of June, I really want to encourage you to come back and listen to this and just take it in and allow it to connect with your heart and soul. Let the truth come through, let the truth come out, and let it help you heal so that you can move forward with happiness in your heart. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. Until we connect again, take care. Hello and welcome to those of you who chose bundle 2 as the bundle that has the reading, the message, the guidance, and the inspiration that you need in your life right now. So we are doing Finding Your Light as we go through the winter solstice. And as you can see, I have shuffled and laid out the cards already. We're working with quite a few cards again today. The main tarot deck that I'm working with here is the Shadowland Tarot, which is just such an awesome quirky deck for making us really look at ourselves in an honest way. And I have got a couple of oracles laid out as well, which we will talk about when we get to them. So I have got 5 questions that we're going to be working through to help you find your light through the winter solstice. And as I say, I've already shuffled and laid out the cards just so that we can get straight into the reading. So let's do just that. So we're going to start off with our first question. And the first question we have today is, what is the main or unknown obstacle that you have been dealing with through this winter? So what is something that you maybe are not completely aware of that you have been, and it's an obstacle, it's something that is preventing you from moving forward or preventing you from living your best life. So what is the main unknown obstacle that you have been dealing with this winter? And the card we have is the King of Wands. Actually, I'm going to probably do this with all the cards, but I love them so much I need to show you. So King of Wands, we have this, I'm going to call him a creepy dude, okay, because he's a skeleton. He's got flames on his horns. Even his outfit looks like it's made of flames. He's got really nice long nails. You know me, I like the long nails, but look at all the little creatures he's got at the bottom. So he's got a fire keeping him warm. There's a little other creature there, and there's all sorts. I mean, we've got snakes and crabs and birds with boots, of course, because birds all need boots in their lives. There's all sorts of things going on here, and each one of these characters are looking at him intently. They're looking at him and they're saying, right, what's next? What's next? What's next? He is the king of doing. He is the king of action, okay? He is the king that everybody looks up to and everybody says, right, waits for their next instruction. He's the one that everybody looks up to and says, okay, where to next? What next? What do we need to focus on? So that's why he has got everybody's undivided attention, All right. So the main unknown obstacle that you've been dealing with lately is the fact that everybody's looking at you for answers. You may find like everywhere you turn, every time you enter a room, every time you do anything, there's like 100 people waiting to ask you questions, ask you something. And you may be feeling a little bit like, can I just get a break? Okay. So that is something unknown. It's an obstacle. It's something that you maybe even subconsciously have been avoiding interacting with people, avoiding connecting with people, and especially when there seems to be something that needs doing. It's like everybody seems to be leaning on you, turning to you, and waiting for you to issue instructions and to issue what next, how to go about doing things. And this may be feeling a little bit overwhelming and a little bit uncomfortable for you. So that is the unknown obstacle that you have been dealing with over this winter period. Let's have a look and see what is the shadow that this has actually caused. What difficulty or what challenge has it actually caused in your life? And here we have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles, for want of a better phrase, okay, she's the person who's resourceful, okay? She is the most resourceful person ever. She's one of those people who can make the most amazing meal for 20 people out of absolutely nothing in her kitchen, okay? She is resourceful. She knows how to make things happen. She knows how to achieve greatness. And she knows how to get the best out of everybody as well, okay? So I want to label her as a manipulator. I want to label her as somebody who knows how to get the most juice out of an apple. And I'm saying that because she's standing under an apple tree. She knows exactly what to do to really squeeze all the juices out. She takes advantage of everything and everyone around her in order to achieve the things that she needs to achieve. So basically what this means, the shadow that this has cast on you over this winter period, is that you've had to really dig deep within yourself to find answers, to find solutions, to find methods, to find know-hows, to find whatever. You've had to work really hard in order to do that, and you haven't always had the resources that everybody's been looking at you for. You haven't always had the resources, so you've had to be really crafty. You've had to be really sneaky, really creative, and really brave, I almost want to say, in the way that you approach things and in the way that you get things done. Okay, so this is the challenge that you've had. You've had everybody sort of standing and looking at you going, what do we do? What next? How do we do it? What do we need to do? Where do we get that from? And you've had to have all the answers all the time. You've had to pull some interesting things out of the cauldron or some interesting things out of the hat in order to achieve the things that need to be done. So this is the challenge that you've been going through. This is the shadow that you've been dealing with through this winter period. Now we want to look at, now that we've understood that, now that we've recognized the challenge, the shadow, however you want to look at it, the next thing that we want to do is to look at how can you step out from under the shadow, okay? So how do we step out of the shadow? And what we've got there, wow, is the King of Cups. I'm saying wow because we've got 3 court cards, all right? We've got 3 court cards, and that generally, when we have so many court cards, it really talks about personality and attitude and, you know, method and all those kind of things. So that's what I'm getting quite strongly from here, is that all of you who chose bundle 2, you are somebody special, okay? I mean, everybody's special, but you guys really are, whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever it is that you're going through at the moment, it really is something special. And with this King of Cups, the King of Cups, he's all about the emotions. He's all about the feel good. He's all about the feelings. And he carries everything around with him. And I love how he's got this, I'm going to call it shell head, which means that there's this spiral, this never ending. You can never get to the center. It seems to be ongoing, okay? And the way that you step out of the shadow is by recognizing. That's what I'm getting from this, is recognizing the emotions that you're getting from, we've got the fire, we've got the earth, the practical of the earth, we've got the creative inspiration of the fire, we've got the practicality of earth energy, and now we've got the king of emotions. So there certainly seems to be powerful, powerful, powerful energy here. But what you have to understand is that you have been coping. We're talking about this as being a challenge or a problem for you, but actually looking at the King of Cups, it hasn't really been. You've actually handled it pretty okay. All right, let's be completely honest. You may have had your moments of like WTF, but actually, truth be told, you've actually handled everything pretty well. But how to get out of this, how to snap the circle, how to change the circle is by recognizing the emotions that you're feeling as well as the emotions of everybody else. Because when everybody else is feeling insecure, that's when they come to you for answers. All right. It's when everybody else is feeling unsure of themselves and insecure. That's when they're leaning on you. And that's when this starts getting a little bit chaotic. That's when this starts getting a little bit like all over the place. So the way for you to step out of the shadow is to recognize and acknowledge, number one, your own feelings, and number two, the feelings and emotions of other people. And if you can help other people control their own emotions, they're not going to need you or rely on you as much as what they have been doing already. So very interesting. Okay, I'm absolutely loving this. Very interesting. So the main unknown obstacle that you've been dealing with this winter is how everybody needs you, how everybody leans on you and waits for your instruction, waits for your order, waits for your inspiration, and so forth. The shadow that it's cast over your life is that you've had to be very crafty, very creative. You've had to come up with miracles out of nothing. You've had to conjure up a lot of things. And the best way to step out of the shadow is by acknowledging your own emotional well-being as well as the emotional well-being of these people. And if you can help these people be more emotionally secure, more emotionally in control, they won't need you as much. Obviously, recognizing that is one thing, okay? Recognizing that, seeing that, acknowledging that, understanding that is one thing. But now what we're going to look at here is how to replace this particular shadow with light. In other words, how to turn it into a positive. And the card we have there, oh my word, is another court card, like OMG. Okay, I'm having an OMG moment here. You can have one with me or you can just ignore me for a second. King of Pentacles. Wow. So he is the counterpart of our queen. I actually want to show you because he's cute. Look at his crown of crystals. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at his little crown of crystals. He's so cute. And he's holding a huge big orange orb in his hand. He's sitting at his desk. He's trying to be very practical because Pentacles is all about practicality. So he's sitting at his desk. Look at his pile of money that he's got there. And he's looking into his crystal ball and he's trying to determine the answers. He's trying to determine, how do we do this? What do we need to do? What's the most important thing? But he's got this knowledge. He's got this understanding. He's got the special energy, if I can call it that, the special energy that's happening around him. He really is just absolutely gorgeous. But King of Pentacles is about taking control of the resources, okay? And that's what we need to do. So how do we replace this shadow with light? And what he's saying to you, what our King of Pentacles is telling you, is be practical. Don't get so caught up in the emotions. We need to recognize the emotions, okay? To step out of the shadow, we need to be aware of the shadows, the emotions. We need to be aware of the emotions, but we also need to be practical. We also need to recognize that we can't just tell everybody, get over yourselves, okay? Because unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. We can't tell everybody to get over themselves. We have to help people step by step because they've lent on you, they've leaned on you, they've relied on you for such a long time. You can't just say to them, you know what, guys, I can't do this anymore, cheers and goodbye. You cannot abandon people like that. You have to continue, but we need to be practical about the steps that we take. We need to understand restrictions, limitations, as well as the emotions. And if you can do that, if you can be practical, so instead of doing everything for everybody, instead of being everything for everybody, you need to guide them to doing it for themselves. And if you can do that, then everybody's going to be happy, everybody's going to be fabulous, and there's going to be light instead of all this dark, heavy energy around you. And finally, our last tarot card that we're going to be looking at today is going to answer the question of what lies ahead for you. If you take this advice, if you make these subtle changes in your life, if you start, I want to say, empowering people to be more assertive, if you can empower people to take more control of their own life, their own circumstances, and their own emotions, if you can empower them to not rely on you so much, what can you look forward to? And the card that we, oh my gosh, I can't even pick it up. We have another court card. So 5 court cards. That is, I'm sure it's a first for our picker card anyway. Yeah, it's not often. Out of 78 cards, there are only 16 court cards, and we have 5 of the 16 right here. It is quite a thing. Knight of Swords, what do you have to look forward to? So what I love about the Knight of Swords, so here we have our knight. You can see him sitting on the bat. Okay, he's riding the bat. Look at his huge big sword. I mean, that sword is almost as big as he is, if not even bigger than that. But the way that he's holding it, the way that he's holding up, it's showing victory, it's showing success, it shows, you know, that he's ready to jump into anything, and he's ready to achieve greatness, he's ready to enjoy success for all his efforts. Knight energy is very fast moving, it's very quick, it's very active. Okay, and Knight of Swords means that we're going to be quick-witted, we're going to have quick answers, quick solutions, and things are going to happen really, really quickly. So what do you have to look forward to? What lies ahead for you if we are able to help people to be more independent and less dependent on you? Well, you would actually be able to get your own things done. That's really what this Knight of Swords is saying. It's about focusing on your needs, wants, and desires, focusing on the things that are relevant and appropriate to you, and not just always being so focused on everybody else. You know, so we almost need to, with the 2 kings that we have here, I know we've got 3 out of the 4 kings, but with these 2 kings over here, it's really saying to you that we need to help people be more self-sufficient. Okay, emotionally and in practical matters. We need to help them to be more self-sufficient and not be so dependent on you, because everybody is really, really, really leaning on you, and you're not getting any of your own stuff done because you're so focused on everybody else's needs, wants, and desires, and you're not able to focus on your own. So that is what you've got to look forward to once you've helped everybody be a little bit more self-sufficient. All right, let's have a look at our oracle cards. And the first oracle card that we have over here is from the Nature's Whispers Oracle. Really, I love the imagery on this deck. And the card that we have is the ideal course of action. Let's just get that onto focus first. Ideal course of action. And I mean, these cards, the more you look, the more you see. So let's start at the top. So here we have this beautiful woman. Isn't she absolutely gorgeous? Perfect skin tone and all that kind of stuff. Look at this earring, this detail, intricacy. She has got a dragon on her head. She has got pearls and diamonds in her hair. And she is looking out at the castle. She is looking out at everything that's there in front of her. Look at the sea of people. I don't know if I'm going to get it into focus. I don't think so. But here we have a sea of people who are, again, looking to her for guidance. They're looking up to her for guidance. They're waiting for her to say what's next. Look at this tiny little, I'm going to call it a lion, in the flower. And we have got a boat over there, and we have got a polar bear, and we have got a dandelion for making wishes, and we have got all the flamingos. So there's so much going on here, but what it's telling you is to decide on the ideal course of action and stick with it. Follow through with the ideal course of action. Do not allow yourself to get sidetracked. Do not allow yourself to get swayed. And don't, I almost want to say, as much as these people matter, as much as they are important and significant in your life, don't let every decision you make be based only on them. You've got to factor yourself into it. And we need to understand what is the ideal course of action for not only for you, but for everybody. Okay. And I think that ties in so beautifully with the reading that we've had here. It's about understanding that you can't do everything for everyone all the time. It's time that you took control of your own emotions and allowed them to take control of their emotions. Be practical about what needs doing, how they need to do it, and all that kind of thing. But understanding that you need to be looking after yourself a little bit better and not always be so concerned with everybody else. We're now going to have a look at this little card over here. And this is from the Forest Fae deck, which is a cute little oracle deck. And let's have a look and see what Forest Fae message we get. So we have strange journeys, and it says take control of your quest. Choose your companions wisely. So look at the Forest Fae that we have here. Look at her. Isn't she gorgeous with her green hair? She's got the bluebird, there's cats, there's, I'm going to call it goats and owls and all sorts of things. But the message is strange journeys. Take control of your quest. Choose your companions wisely. And you know what, again, that is so tying in to everything that we have already discussed and everything that we have already said. It's about understanding your companions, understanding that you don't have to be responsible for everybody. You don't have to take care of everybody. You don't have to be all things to all people all the time. But you do have to recognize that you've got your own journey to go on. You've got your own things that you have to achieve, and you are responsible for yourself. I like that. Ideal course of action is to pay attention to your journey and to understand that this is your journey that you're going on, and you get to choose who goes on with you. You're not obligated to take all those people. You're not obligated to do everything for everyone. And then finally, friends, this card comes from an I Am Power affirmation deck, and it really is just an affirmation that you can use, that you can keep repeating to yourself, that you can use over the next couple of days to help you as you get through the winter solstice, connected to this message. And it is, I am composed. I love that. I am composed. And you know what? I think you need that. I think you need that kind of, I'm going to call it affirmation, that kind of confirmation that you are composed, that you know exactly who you are, you know exactly what you're going through, you know exactly what is necessary to achieve the outcomes that you desire. So you've got to keep reminding yourself that you are composed. So it's about not losing control. And that, to me, the most important thing with that message is the fact that we have the three kings. Because kings are all about control. Kings are all about dominance, control, assertiveness, planning, you know, implementing plans and so forth. And in order to do that, you have to be incredibly composed. In order to choose who's going on the journey with you, in order to choose the ideal course of action, you have to be composed. You cannot allow emotions to run away with you. We have to know what resources we have available to us, but we also have to recognize that we are on our own journey. Okay, and we have to stay composed, otherwise we fail. That's it, simple. So friends, this reading is to help you as we go through the winter solstice, as the seasons change, as the nights get shorter and the days get longer, as we start moving towards summer, as we start moving towards the light. Let's just understand the difficulties, the subconscious, unconscious difficulties that we've been faced with, and let's start being more aware of them as we start moving into the new phase. I would suggest that you use this affirmation, I am composed, and this reading and everything that's been given to you here over the next couple of days, especially as we go through the winter solstice on the 21st of June. Everything that you do, if you find yourself getting emotional, if you find yourself getting worked up, if you find yourself getting exhausted by everybody's demands, just keep reminding yourself, I am composed, I am composed, I am composed. And if you do that, you're going to find this whole situation so much easier to transition, to change, and to move through. Awesome. Friends, I do hope that you enjoyed your reading. I do hope that there was something in here that speaks to your heart and soul. And yeah, I do hope that it connects with you. And from my heart to yours, until we connect again, take care. Hello and welcome to those of you who chose bundle 3 as the bundle that has the message, the reading, the guidance, and the inspiration that you need in your life right now. So today we are looking at finding your light as we go through the winter solstice, which is due on the 21st of June 2021. You can see I have shuffled and laid out the cards just to try and speed up the process so we can get straight into your reading. And you can see this is the main tarot deck that we're going to be working with today, which is the Shadowland Tarot. And that's going to give us the answers to the 5 questions that we have. And then I have got some additional oracle cards that we're going to be working with as well. So the theme for today is finding your light as we go through the winter solstice. But yeah, it doesn't matter when you watch this video. If you've chosen bundle 3, let the reading be relevant and appropriate to you at that point. So let's get straight into it. We're going to start off with the first card. And the question we have here is, what is the main or unknown obstacle that you have been dealing with through this winter period? So let's have a look and see. We have got the card of Temperance. So the Shadowland Tarot is a little bit quirky, a little bit odd, a little bit peculiar, but it certainly helps us to see aspects of ourselves that we would ordinarily overlook and not really pay attention to. So it really is, I love this deck for this kind of work. So we have got a bat type energy here who is a skeleton, but he's got his perfectly beautiful red boots on. He's got fire behind him, so he's got strength and passion and all of those kind of things. And he's standing with 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot sort of in the water. Temperance is the card of balance. Okay, to put it very simply, it's about life balance. It's about understanding right and wrong. It's about understanding, you know, how much to give and how much to hold back. It's about juggling different aspects of your life. Sort of like, I want to say, juggling your work life and your home life, and juggling your finances and your emotions. It's about trying to find balance between different areas of your life. And this is something that you've clearly been, I want to say, struggling with, even if it is subconsciously, even if it is not obvious, okay? But over the last couple of months, as we've been going into the middle of winter, as we've been going through, coming towards the winter solstice, this is an unknown obstacle that you have been facing. So you've been struggling, you've been trying so hard to find a balance in your life, to try to find a balance between all the opposites and all the different aspects and all the things that are relevant and important, trying to figure out which way is the right, what's the right thing for you. And it's obviously been quite the struggle for you. The second card we have is this challenge. What effect has it absolutely had on your life? So this is the shadow that it has cast, that this challenge has cast on your life. And the shadow that it's cast is the Two of Pentacles, which is, again, a card of balance. And if we have a look at it, we've got this, I'm going to call him a zombie type figure, who is balancing, trying to balance on a coin while he holds another one. And he's sort of trying to find his balance. He's trying to find himself. Let's see if I can show you. Okay. So he's got a huge big coin that he's holding onto. You can see that he's not in good shape. I mean, even his bones of his fingers seem to be falling off. All right. He's got a couple of bandages sort of holding him together. Really bad shoes. And he's got another coin here at the bottom that he's sort of trying to find his balance on. I love the camels moving towards the pyramid. So we're talking about, it's been a long time. Okay, this balancing that he's trying to do here, he's been trying to find his balance for the longest time, so much so that even the camels are finding and getting to the 3 pyramids as well. So it's all about trying to find the balance. So, and that's temperance. Temperance is also about trying to find balance. So clearly that is something that each of you who have chosen bundle 3 have been really battling and struggling with over the last couple of weeks, couple of months. So understanding this, the main obstacle is trying to find the balance, trying to figure out your yin and your yang, your day and your night, your light and your dark, all of those kind of things. And it's really created a little bit of an imbalance, especially when it comes to our material possessions, because that's what these 2 coins are referencing. And if you think about the pyramids, the only people who were buried in the pyramids were the rich and the famous. Okay. So it's definitely got to do with material possessions. It's definitely got to do with your riches, okay? And this is what you're struggling. You're struggling to find a way of keeping yourself together, being a good person, doing everything that you need to do, and having enough money in order to be. So that is the shadow that it has cast on your life, this balance that you're struggling with. And I understand with the things going on in the world at the moment, with the situation of the world that we have at the moment, there's a lot of people who find themselves in this particular predicament. Okay, so now let's have a look and see, how do we step out of this situation? How do we turn this around? How do we step out of the shadow? Because the shadow is trying to find balance. How do we step out of that shadow? And the card that we have for there is the 8 of Swords. That's actually, I'm going to bring it closer to show you, because it's actually very, very interesting. So 8 of Swords, we have this bird. Again, beautiful red boots. Got to have red boots. So if we have a look at this bird, all right. So the bird has been bound. Looks like gorgeous gold thread that has been wrapped around the bird. The bird is blindfolded, all right. So our bird can't even see what's going on around it. And the bird is surrounded by 8 feathers. So there's the circle of feathers around the bird. So the bird feels trapped, it feels caged, it feels locked in, okay? The bird feels as if it can't get out, it can't do anything. Now, we all know that feathers are strong enough to help a bird fly, but feathers are also incredibly delicate and incredibly light and incredibly, I don't want to say weak, because it's such an oxymoron. They are weak, but they are strong at the same time. This bird, with just a little bit of effort, could actually move out of the circle of feathers and release itself from the bonds or the ties that it feels there. But it's the message of this particular card with the 8 of Swords is telling you that you're feeling trapped, you're feeling blocked, caged, prisoned, you're feeling like you're trapped and stuck and whatever, but actually it's all a figment of your imagination, because with a very little bit of effort you can turn your circumstances around. And these feathers are not holding you captive. What they're doing is keeping you safe and protected. Okay, so it's about recognizing your true situation for what it is, seeing your true situation for what it is, and actually being okay with it. So it's about changing your perceptions, changing the way that you view your reality. So let's just do a quick recap here, because this is getting quite interesting. The main or unknown obstacle that you have been dealing with is trying to find balance in your life between all areas, between all things, trying to find that balance. The shadow that it has cast is the trying to find balance in our money, trying to find balance in our material possessions. How to step out of that shadow? By facing the truth, okay, being honest with yourself, recognizing your restrictions and your limitations, but also recognizing that you have placed those restrictions and limitations on yourself. Nobody's done it to you. There's nobody else in this card. Okay, this bird is here all on her own, all on her own. So she's done this to herself. She is holding herself captive in her mind. It is an illusion. The circumstance and the situation is an illusion. It's not real. It's not what you're perceiving or what you're imagining is not true of the situation. And if you don't be honest with yourself, if you don't face it properly, if you don't look at it the way that you're supposed to, you're never going to get this balance that you're looking for. So the way to step out of your shadow is by being honest, by being true, by looking at your situation truthfully and seeing things for what they are and not always judging it or perceiving it in a negative light. Recognizing shadow is one thing, okay? Recognizing the challenge, recognizing the problems is one thing. What we need to do is we need to replace that shadow. We need to remove the darkness and shed some light. So the way to replace the shadow with light, here we have, is the Four of Wands. So Four of Wands, we have these two little Nunu monsters. I'm calling them cute little Nunu monsters because they are. Look at their beautiful spider web that they've created, but they've come together in happiness. They've come together celebrating life. This is the card of commitment. This is the card of celebrating relationships. This is the card of celebrating marriage and commitment to one another. And its story or its message for you is the way to change the shadow aspects into positive, how to change the shadow into light is by celebrating the things and the commitments and what you are doing right. Celebrate your successes, celebrate your victories, celebrate the things that are working out for you, and don't focus on that. Don't always feel so sorry for yourself. Don't always feel like so isolated, trapped and caged, imprisoned, where you say, you know what, actually look how life is. Life is actually pretty awesome. I might not be in the castle, but I don't need to be because I have everything I need right here. Everything I need, and celebrating the union and the connection with another person. That is the way to change the darkness into light. I like that. If we are able to do this, so if we are able to take the inspiration, the guidance from the rest of the cards, what we have over here with card number 5 is looking forward, what lies ahead for you if you are able to step out from the shadows. And what lies ahead for you is the High Priestess. I love that. So High Priestess, she's fabulous. Again, we have the beautiful red boots on. Red boots, red boots, red boots. All of us are going to be rushing out to go and buy some red boots this weekend. All right. High Priestess is the card of intuition. It's the card of inner knowing. It's also the card of knowledge, okay? But it's the inner knowledge, the inspiration that we have within our heart and our souls. And again, I want to go back to the pyramids. The knowledge that is contained within those pyramids, we can't even begin to grasp, all right? We think we've got a handle on it, but there's so much more there, and that's High Priestess. So if you have a look at the card, she is carrying the book of knowledge. So everything that she needs to know in life is inside of that book. Everything that's important and significant. Look at her beautiful crown. And she's got her broomstick, which is her mode of transport or whatever it is. And she's even standing on the moon. And you can see that she's quite comfortable, and she is controlling all things important and significant in life. High Priestess, she is all about inner knowledge, inner understanding, inner strength, inner all of that kind of things. But it's about trusting that you are enough. So she is, and that's what you've got to look forward to. At the moment, you're like, trying to find your feet, trying to find your balance, trying to find your, how to stay afloat and how to handle this and how to do that. Actually, let's just change the circumstance. Let's just look at everything from a different perspective. Let's see that we're not restricted and limited except for our own beliefs and our own understandings. Let's celebrate all that we do have. Let's acknowledge all the good that we do have, the commitments and the happiness and the joy that we do have in life. And by doing that, we know that we'll find the answers to everything to all our challenges. The answers are there. They're all right there. But if you're in chaos mode, if you've got blindfolds on, if you're trapped and isolated, you're never going to see what you need to see. So it's time to take the blindfold off and to see the truth, accept the truth, allow the truth, be the truth. I love that. All right, let's get into the oracle cards. So we've got 3 oracle cards that we're going to be working with. We're going to start off with this one over here, which is from the Nature's Whispers Oracle. And let's turn it over and see what its message is. First of all, the images on these cards are exquisite. So exquisite. Actually, I'm going to show you, before I show you what the message of the card is, let's just have a look. I mean, look at this lotus flower. Look at the details. Look at the beautiful sky and the trees. And look at this lady. She's sitting there and she's sort of looking out longingly, looking at it thinking, wow. We even have a boat coming in here. So her ship is coming in. She's got these beautiful candles, beautiful lilies. There's another little boat that she's come in at. She's sitting on a rock. We've got all this beautiful stuff around it. And the message is, you are worth it. And you are, my friends. You are. You are so worth it. So understand, don't feel like you're not worthy of beauty, that you're not worthy of happiness, that you're not worthy of success. You are absolutely. But in order to have the happiness and success that you want, that you deserve, that you need, we've got to change our perspectives. We've got to change the way that we look at things. We've got to change that. And we've got to recognize that we're not going to find balance until we stop. We're not going to find this balance that we're looking for. Our answers to our problems, we're not going to find them until we stop. Breathe, reconnect, recognize, admit, celebrate the things that we do have going for us. Deep look within ourselves to find the answers and to know that we actually deserve happiness. We actually deserve happiness. We don't deserve the difficulty and the struggle, but you know that. You know that. But this is the biggest challenge that you have to face. I'm now going to have a look at this oracle deck. Or oracle card, I should say, and this is coming from the Faery Fae Oracle, and its message, we have the Fairy Harper, and it says, find the words to long forgotten songs and dance to the music in your soul. I love that. You know, let's do that. So here we have the Fairy Harper playing the harp, and it's about recognizing, you know, thinking back to a time, a simpler time, a time where life was easy. So find the words to long forgotten songs and dance to the music in your soul. Let your soul guide you. And I think that's what a high priestess was all about as well. A high priestess was saying, you know, let's just recognize and acknowledge who we are, and let's recognize and acknowledge what's important. Let's not have these self-limiting beliefs anymore. Let's not feel so trapped and isolated, because you are worth it and you deserve it. But I love that long forgotten song. So think back to songs, your favorite songs from when you were a teenager. Think about the words, and I can promise you that those words are going to tell you. Finding balance is not easy, but you are worth it, and you've got the answers within your soul. Wow, I'm loving this. All right, and then the final thing that we're going to do is to look at this particular card. So this card comes from a deck which is known as the I Am Power Affirmation cards. So they are just short little statements that say I am, and then there's a word, and it's something that you can use to repeat over and over and over again to remind yourself of what you need to do, what you need to get through, what is important and significant. I don't know what's on the other side of this card. So let's turn it over and see what is your I Am affirmation card. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like it. I am genuine. And I think, you know what, I know I say this quite often, I can't make this stuff up. Because this card over here is saying that you don't feel like you're genuine. You don't feel like you are enough. You don't feel like you can. You don't feel like you're capable, all right? You don't feel like you are worth it. You don't feel like you are enough. But actually, you need to just keep reminding yourself, I am genuine. I am genuine. I am genuine. Say it over and over and over again. Especially as we go through this winter solstice, especially as we go through the change of seasons, as we go towards the light. Keep reminding yourself that you are genuine. You are enough. You are genuine. You are all that you need and so much more. Instead of trying to find a way of balancing, instead of trying to find more than there is, you are genuine. You are enough. And that is everything that you need. Friends, I do hope that there was something in this reading that just really speaks to your heart and soul. I do hope that this helps you to find the light in your life and to leave the darkness behind as we go through the solstice. Wishing every single one of you every happiness in the world. You are genuine. You are enough. With love and blessings from my heart to yours. Until we connect again, take care.